Hello and welcome to the Untranslatable Podcast. Today we are recording episode number 83, a very exciting Euro trip recap from our good buddy Don. So we're looking forward to talking to him about his trip. And this episode is designed for anybody who is curious about some cities and places to go to in Europe. I'm curious to hear some of Don's travel tips later. And also, Don is quite the social butterfly, as we've mentioned, so we're looking forward to talking about how he also made some new connections and some new buddies while abroad. But before we get to that, without further ado, my good buddy Jared. What's going on, Jared?
Hello. Post 2 Instagram stories, and you too can be a social media ambassador, children. That's all it takes. Welcome to the Untranslatable Podcast. Please follow us on Instagram, Untranslatable Podcast. If you blinked, you would have missed Don, but he's on there sometimes too. Or you can follow us on Twitter, Untranslatable1, the number 1. Shout out, spread a little love to Andrea Triana for giving us some love for posting that song of the pod. Shout out to you, my new best friend. Or you can email us, untranslatablepodcast@gmail.com. Send us your untranslatable phrases. Send us your travel stories. You can send us topic ideas. You know, we've got them for days, but we'll take other people's. I'm sure some people out there have some good ideas. Or really, spread a little love. 5-star reviews on Instagram. What? God damn it. Spread a little love on iTunes and Stitcher. We've gotten 4 5-star reviews or ratings. Thank you very much. 9,996 to go, and we would have met our goal. And I believe I gave us a week. So at this point, we've got a couple more days. I'm still positive.
We can get it.
Yeah, I think so. It's good to be back. Good to see you, Chad. Good to see Don, too.
Good to see you all.
We're very, very happy to have Don here with us today. And for those of you who missed our episode while we were in Chomutov, we had the pleasure of having Don on for the second time, and it was quite a pleasure to have him there, talk a little bit about his experiences in Europe at the time in Czech Republic. And we're very, very happy to have him back on today and hear how he has enlightened himself and evolved as a traveler or a tourist. I'm not quite sure what he would rank since we didn't do the test with him. But I think he's maybe into full-fledged traveler mode now after this exciting journey. So, Don, how have you been? And tell us a little bit about your travels.
Thanks for having me on again, guys. I've been well. Acclimating back here to the States was a little bit easier than planned. I do want to go on another now 6-month to 12-month vacation in Europe and just quit my job and never come back.
There you go.
That was debated on the flight back, but I realized having income would be nice.
It's overrated, trust me.
Just those little things.
No, dude. As soon as I got back, I was like, I need to figure out how to get back there immediately. And how was your first day back to work? Because my first day back to work, I was like, this is the dumbest thing ever. Why? Like, I don't want to be here. It was so hard to focus.
Yeah, my first day back wasn't as bad as I planned. Like I did a little bit of groundwork, as I call it, on vacation, where once or twice a week you clear some emails, you go through, and so your first day back, you don't want it to be terrible. I usually have a rule of thumb for travelers out there. If you're going more than about 5 time zones away, you always take 2 days off before you come back to work. I did not do that. I landed at 8 p.m. last Sunday and I was at work and put myself at my desk by 6:30, went for a run, and was back working by 7:30. So that's kind of
impressive.
I've done that before too. I did that when I went to Tanzania last year, and no joke, I had to leave work halfway through because I felt like I was hammered. I was so tired. I was so tired. It literally felt like I was like drunk at work. My head was all loopy, and I was like, I gotta get out of here. And I went home and went to bed at like 5 and woke up the next morning refreshed and ready to go.
And you know, that's a really great rule of thumb too. I've always done that when I've come back from Germany. When I was working at MSU and teaching that German summer study abroad program, when I came back, I would definitely give myself 1 or 2 days, if not 3, I mean, frankly, if we could just give ourselves a week, that'd be great. But that's usually not
a post-vacation vacation just to get reacclimated.
Yep. I mean, I think that's a real thing though. Like when I go back to Michigan, I always try to plan at least have like 24 hours before I go to work because, I mean, it's just you don't want to come back and be rushed. Like we're adults now, we can afford to take an extra day. Like we're not scrambling for time. We can like take an extra day off. Granted. Let me preface, I work for an amazing startup. I have unlimited PTO, and it allows me to take that time off.
Well, I wouldn't say PTO. I have an unlimited TO right now as well.
Enjoy it.
I'm trying, man. My goal is to, I've been trying to get back into mountain biking. I went last weekend. And my goal is to, I go on the weekends, but it's packed, especially now that the weather's nice here. And so I'm like, why don't I go like mornings during the week? So that's going to be my goal is during the week is to start my day with a mountain bike and just stay as active as possible. Because I'm real nervous about getting complacent in this TO time that I'm on right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good plan, man. Get active, get out there. And it's a good time of year there. I mean, I don't know if you guys know, but there's a pretty big time sporting event I was watching last night and this morning that is coming to King of Prussia in Philly, Jared. You should go check it out. It's a big deal. What is it? It's the ACL cornhole tournament. Yes, there's a thing, and yes, it is on TV. It was the most entertaining bit of television I have seen in a very long time. So last night we were up watching it. It was on late night. Man, I was intrigued because for our Midwest East Coast listeners, cornhole is a thing, right? You guys know about it.
Have you guys played it? Explain cornhole to our listeners out there, Don?
All right, so cornhole. So cornhole is made up of, you have two, I think it's about like 2 foot wide by about, what is it, like 4 feet long, plywood sort of things that are slicked down, and there's a hole
Sounds about right.
in the back about 4 inches from the end that's centered.
And they're slightly ramped a little bit.
Yeah, they're ramped at like a not quite 45-degree angle, but I'd say it's about maybe like 30 or something like that. Sure, I'm looking it up to see. But so there is the ACO is the American Cornhole Organization. Sorry, this is hard. Because you guys didn't watch it last night.
We definitely did not.
I was not staying up late in Komotov to watch the American Cornhole Championships.
But this is
got
just
money
like
on
one
it.
round of it. It gets serious. Okay, so what it is cornhole is like in the States, it's a game where you have these two things. They're about how far apart do they stand? Let me verify this. I mean, because people get real serious about it. I would say they're about like
20 feet?
20 feet, about 20 feet apart. And each person gets 4
24
bags.
feet is the official rule.
Oh, yeah.
For casual tournament, 24 is for casual games. Official tournament space is 27 feet. So the ACO is probably going 27.
Yeah, it's a long throw, and really what makes it up, what I learned, is the bags. So the bags they are made out of corn, and one thing learning is these guys playing, like they have like the whole stat line from them playing, like where they're from, how old they are, and what kind of bags they're using. And one was like local, and I'm like, wait, what does local mean? That's very vague. And then you see like on his jersey, local. I'm like, oh, local's a brand. And they're getting serious. They're like, well, these guys' bags. I mean, what you'll notice here is they're two-sided. So one side has a little bit more stick, the other side is a little bit more slippery. So if they're trying to go for like an airmail, which airmail means they just drop it right in the hole, they're going to want to use that slick side so it comes down and just comes straight through. And then if they're trying to stick one right in front of the hole, they'll definitely use the sticky side to kind of ramp up and stop. And so there's people there. I imagine this is made to look like it's in a big area. I just imagine they're in like a Holiday Inn conference room that they blacked out because there's about 4 rows of people and nobody had teeth.
No, they're required to be drunk while they're playing this because I've never seen someone soberly play cornhole before.
Okay, well, this is the thing. Every person there, they had like some sort of beverage that they were sipping, plastic cup in a Yeti. Then there was like this 18-year-old kid who was playing this guy who's like 26 or something like that. They both had the fucking AirPods in. Granted, I'm a repeat offender. I have them. But they're playing with them in, and they were getting way too hype. Like, it's a serious game. Like, there's one guy that kept saying, like, oh, my bad, man, and kept tapping his chest like it matters. I don't know. They got way into
like
it.
It matters.
Sorry. It's a little bit rude. People.
I'm sure like it.
You just made all of our cornhole listeners out there feel very alienated, Don.
I'm sorry.
How dare you?
The views of Don do not reflect the views of the Untranslatable podcast.
That's right. I think what's crazy, though, is whenever I think of cornhole, I don't know about you guys, but the first thing that comes into my mind is tailgating.
Yes.
Right? You know, going to football games on Saturday usually in the States. And yeah, people also, I've seen people get in, yelling matches over cornhole before. It's crazy.
They get into it.
Yeah.
So we were watching the dual men's and women's championship in Johnsonville or Jacksonville, somewhere down south. By the way, the commercials for this, second to none. I wish I could pull them up.
Commercials.
No, dude, it was like cornhole stuff. Like, do you want the latest cornhole gear? You see your neighbors playing it. Well, you should play it too. Then the funniest one was for Johnsonville breakfast sandwiches. Oh my God. I thought when we first listened to it, I thought it like wasn't a legitimate commercial because it's like this guy who can barely read a script talking about Johnsonville, then goes into the woods and eating his sandwich or turkey or whatever it is. And like a little raccoon pops up and goes, is that Johnsonville, yada, yada? Then a fox goes up. Yes, it is. Then they just all have a laugh. And I'm just like, what is going on? Is
Sounds
this
like
real
a fever
life?
Dream.
Yeah.
How'd you find this and why'd you watch it? What channel is this on? 3,672?
ESPN 8, the Ocho.
I was going to say, that reminded me of dodgeball in so many ways.
That's exactly what we were thinking of when we were watching it. But we were scrolling through, and my girlfriend Alyssa, she goes, "Hey, we gotta watch this." She puts on cornhole, and everyone starts cracking up. But then, because we played it, I got into it. I'm like, "Oh, does he send it? Does he get a 4-bagger? Does he get a 4-bagger?"
Are they good? Like, are they?
Yeah.
I'm sure their on board percentage is way higher than I'm used to seeing in front of our fraternity.
Yeah, I think I saw maybe like 3 bags miss the board, and that was because they were trying to like skim one off the back and knock somebody's half in off, and like there's like combo moves that they talk about. Oh, does he go with the combo in the air? Does he slide it in? I mean,
jeez.
Oh, dude! And the announcers, they didn't show the announcers, and that was the only part I wanted to see because these guys were way too into it. And then they had like an on field journalist, and she like openly said like, "I'm not very good at cornhole. I'm still learning the rules."
Throw the goddamn bag.
Aren't we all?
But Jared, they're going to King of Prussia, so I challenge you to go and watch because I think it'd be very entertaining.
I'm trying to find it, and it seems like on June 9th they're going to be in Pennsylvania, but I don't think it's King of Prussia.
I swear that's what it said. I thought of you.
It says
I said you would.
Central Hull, Pennsylvania. I have no idea what that is. Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at the ACA website right now, and I'm not seeing it, but I would go. I've got the time.
Do some podcast field work, Jared.
Yeah. Get some new sponsors, maybe. Whatever that shirt was called, local or whatever you said that they were wearing.
Oh yeah, there's different brands, man. They get into it, and like it was interesting. One guy held this mug the entire time. Like that's his like every video they did like an athlete profile of these two, like Hissner and I don't know Heidelberg or Heinold or something like that. And they're like, we want to be the staple name. When you think of cornhole, you think of us. And they're like, they take it real seriously. They're like, we met, we gained chemistry, but we actually care about each other. We cheer each other on. We know each other's families. It's not just about cornhole. I'm just like, oh my God.
I'd always just pictured cornhole as an excuse for people to drink.
Right.
Apparently not.
Cornhole is life.
Well, that was a great story, Chad. Don. Hey, Chad, do you want to spread a little love?
You better believe it.
All right.
You better believe it. So let's start with some shout-outs.
Shout out to the ACA, the American Cornhole Association.
That's right. That's who the real ballers are. Let's be real. That's right. All right. My first shout-out goes out to Westside High School Rough Riders, New Jersey high school, who has opened their doors every Friday night to keep students off the streets. So here, hundreds of kids packed the halls of Westside High School on Friday night because it's a space free of fear. It's all part of the Lights On program, which is now in its 4th year and is open to everyone. Many would think the last place students would want to be would be school on a Friday night, right? But within the school, every night until 11 p.m., kids can shoot pool, play video games, hit the hardwood, practice cheers, or, and this is what really caught my attention, or lay down tracks in a recording studio.
That is dope.
Dudes, if my high school had this with a recording studio, I would have been there from 3 p.m. till 11 p.m. every Friday.
Yeah, shout out to the Rough Riders.
That's right.
That's a DMX reference for everyone wondering why I'm honking or barking into the microphone.
Right. Jared's going to give it to you.
To my Rough Riders, meet me outside. Meet me outside.
Okay, I see you, Jared. I see you out here.
1, 2. I used to love DMX.
DMX is great.
I have a shout out too, Chad. Hey Don, have you heard of a company called the Self-Determination Project?
I have not.
Well, I ask you because it's based in South. Geez, I'm all over the place today. It's based in San Francisco, and what it is it's a school bus that arrives to take students to class. But most school buses bring students to class. This one brings the class to the students. The bus is the classroom.
Oh, sweet.
And so this refurbished bus is equipped with all the classroom equipment you need. Computers, supplies, facilities, and desks and stuff. And it's allowed 5,000 kids and adults to pursue higher education without having to worry about constantly attending a school campus. So the Self-Determination Project bus, which launched by the Five Keys Charter School in 2017, travels through some of the poorest neighborhoods and housing projects of San Francisco so it can offer its mobile classroom to disadvantaged residents, particularly single parents, students who don't have access to transportation, and youngsters who are afraid to cross gang territories, like the Rough Riders. The bus is equipped with a library, Chromebooks, which is a computer, internet access, desks, and study nooks, and teachers. And so it's a nonprofit that started in 2003. The nonprofit school was originally created in 2003. Then they added the bus later. And they've taught more than 5,000 students. And I think it's cool. And they've the recidivism rate for ex-convicts who've gone through that stands at 26%, and the average for the state is 65% recidivism.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's cool. I like that. I thought
That's
that was
awesome.
a cool idea. Just riding around and get picked up in a bus and get some classes, and then they go to the next place.
That is awesome. I actually used to work for a company that did that in Lansing.
Same concept with the bus?
Called iTech.
Oh, cool.
And we had a bus with computers on it, Wi-Fi. I will say though, in the summer, if you run all the computers and everything, and the AC too high, it'll kill the battery.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So you got to be real careful with how many computers and everything you have on, plus the battery, because it can get real hot in there. But that's amazing. That's great.
I bet you they got a generator or something out there.
Yeah, I mean, you get some lithium-ion batteries or something. It's 2019. We can make this work. Did you ride around on the bus and just like pick up? You like just sat there and picked up kids in different locations.
So what we would do is we would take the bus to different locations. So one of them we frequently went to a couple churches in Lansing. Where else? A couple other one kind of housing project in Lansing as well. And it was really great, and the kids loved it. I mean, the kids thought it was so awesome to be, learning in this like kind of, kid you not, it felt a little bit, the interior felt a little bit like school meets Pimp My Ride. Exhibit must have came in, and we had like neon lights on the top of the bus, and you had a remote with a phone app, and you could change the color of the lights.
Damn.
And the kids just loved that. So it was really cool.
Yo, we heard you like teaching, so we put a classroom inside of your car.
That's right. Well, Jared, I have another shout out. I actually have a couple more, but this one, as I know Don knows, I think we've talked about this. I think Jared knows as well. Our listeners probably don't know, but generally speaking, I'm usually a Nike guy. But my shout out today goes out to Adidas, because Adidas has started a new campaign to make 11 million shoes out of recycled ocean plastic.
Damn, that's awesome.
they're making a big difference there. There's a huge push because that's something that a lot of people don't know. All of our dry fit stuff is like we're eating plastic on a daily basis because a lot of the byproduct of our dry fit shirts and sort of thing ends up in the ocean, which then fish end up eating, and then we end up eating the fish. And it's a big problem that not a lot of people are talking about. Granted, there is something, the size of like Texas or even bigger of just garbage flowing around the ocean. I'm not sure where.
Right.
But these are all problems that guess who's going to have to solve it? Us and our kids, because the older generations, clearly like our president and his wonderful, caring billionaire friends who are very, very giving back to the earth and the American people, really support it. And they really believe climate change is a real thing. Yeah. Man.
That's some clear sarcasm for our listeners out there who didn't catch that.
Global warming. It was cold outside yesterday. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
exactly. The other cool thing, though, about Adidas is Adidas also made sure that every Major League Soccer team donned jerseys constructed with Parley materials, which are basically upcycle, ocean plastic, which I think is awesome. So now they're making running shoes, and they have a little campaign right now called Run for the Oceans. So big shout out to Adidas. I think that's really amazing. We need to clean up our oceans.
Yeah, for sure. And I just saw a headline or something the other day that's saying essentially we have like 13 years till shit really hits the fan, like unless we do something about it now. And, I was obviously that number keeps on getting smaller and smaller as we continue to do nothing. So it's cool to see that some people are stepping up when some government officials don't seem like it's a priority.
Exactly. And my last two shout-outs are also related to this as well. So, India wants to ban all single-use plastics by 2022. So, big shout-out to India. I think that's amazing. And then my last shout-out goes out to Thailand and Vietnam, who are now starting to use banana leaves for packaging instead of plastic. And as the headline says, it's a very literal take on green packaging. So I think that's pretty sweet.
Hilarious. And it makes me really concerned that the States being a leader in a lot of markets is like we're so opposed to it. Like San Francisco just banned plastic straws. Like we are so far behind and we're not even thinking about it. And that really hurts because like I care about it, but when the people who lead us don't, and the people who can actually enforce those, I guess, laws and regulations seem to think it's a problem. It's very hard. And so that's where I'm glad. I think this political time that we're going through will spark a lot of change because we have the kids in high school now in college have now seen the impacts that government can have with all the rollbacks that have gone through. And I think the states will definitely see an uptick with, what's her name? The congresswoman from New York, Cortez.
Yeah, Alexandria
She's one of them.
Ocasio-Cortez.
Yep.
Yeah.
And she is she's making a difference. She's very outspoken about climate change. So I'm glad that we're starting to get that political drive back where hopefully we can make some improvements down the road. And that's what I hope to see.
And she knows how to use social media too. She knows how to get people to pay attention to her in a positive way.
Well, she's a Democrat that talks like Trump. Did you see that one thing where he said, let's say I'm a bad guy. I'm a really bad guy and I want to do really bad things. I'm just like, you're using Trump's rhetoric so well. It made me laugh. If you guys haven't checked that out, she did some interview in front of Congress about trying to collude and have plugs for industries that back them and how it's completely legal. And she explained it in a very dumbed down Trump rhetoric way that anybody could understand.
Yeah, I think we have to do
Interesting.
that. And you make a good point about the kids too, because Chad and I talk about that a lot here, where it's like they're the future. I believe the children are the future. Just like when we were in Prague, and those kids there were like thousands of kids around Europe, not just Prague, but obviously we were there protesting something involving the environment. I don't know exactly what it was, but it's cool to see nonetheless.
Yeah.
This is always my favorite segment when we have a guest, and especially Don, is the untranslatables.
Ooh, here we go.
Idioms, sayings,
I'm hoping.
Proverbs.
Let me stretch it out. I'm hoping I'm getting better at this.
And so Don spent some time in Spain, so I made sure I got a couple Spanish ones to really test his Spanish.
Yep, same here.
But wonderful.
Here. Oh, did you really? That's hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Wonderful. I'm going to start off with a French-Canadian one, though.
Shoot.
And so this is se faire chanter la pomme. And that means singing the apple.
I caught pomme. I knew that was apple.
Do you know how to say potato in French?
Pomme de terre.
Very
apple
good.
of the earth.
Yeah. The borny. That's very true.
Means singing
the apple. Singing the apple.
Singing the apple.
Ooh.
I'll give you a clue because it's kind of difficult on its own, even for Chad, the experienced untranslatable translator. It has something to do with Adam and Eve.
Singing the apple.
I'm talking to two people that have probably been to church collectively 5 times in their life, and so I don't know if Adam
6.
and Eve.
I went once with my buddy in like middle school because I, thought it was
Adam
cool.
and Eve is the
There you go.
is the best.
Singing.
So Adam and Eve.
I think I have an idea, but I want Don to go first.
I honestly, this is so out there. Because didn't someone give one of them the apple back in those theoretical days? Didn't Eve get Adam the apple, or Adam gave Eve the apple and they ate it?
In theory, the snake, who is the devil, I believe, right?
Sure.
Tricked Eve into taking the apple.
The apple is supposed to represent temptation, forbidden
fruit.
Yeah, forbidden. Yeah, desire.
Jared,
Singing the apple.
You went to a lot of church, man. I'm impressed.
I'm just reading what I wrote down.
Oh.
But I did go to church. I went to church every week when I was a kid.
Well, it doesn't mean like dancing with the devil or that sort of thing?
No.
I don't know.
No. That's a good guess, though.
That is a good guess. Singing to the apple, I think, or singing the apple. I think it's when you're like giving in to temptations. Yeah.
Nah, that's kind of similar to what Don said.
Okay.
It means to flirt.
Oh, all right.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
Don should have gotten this one,
apple
considering he's quite the flirt.
Look who's talking, by the way. That apple. The apple represents that temptation, and that's what they say to say you're flirting with someone. Singing the apple.
Oh,
I like it.
We gotta start using that one. Singing the apple.
I don't know how to flirt. The last time I flirted,
Lies.
I didn't realize what I was doing until someone's like, "Oh, you're a real flirt." I was like, "Oh, that's how you do that."
Right.
Dude, I have no idea how to flirt.
Yes, you do.
It's all right, Jared. We'll do an episode on flirting. Don't you worry. Maybe intercultural flirting.
We should probably have like a guest on for that one.
Whoa, you don't think I can handle that?
No, I'm not saying you can't handle it. I'm just saying.
Oh, God. All right, Jared. Well, as usual, I have, I'm going to start us off with a check one.
Okay.
Well, do you want me to do 1 or 2? We'll do 1.
Okay.
So I'll save the other one for another time.
Yeah, easy on the check ones. We don't.
That's true. That's true. Although I have less than 80 days here.
Wow. All right, so that means
what? Blows my mind.
Days.
God, you're under
40
3 months.
podcast until is that what that would add up to? Something like that?
Somewhere around there. All right, Jared. Do you want an easier one or a harder one in check? Jared and Don.
Let's go easy because Don's here.
Go easy. All right. So this
Thank
one
you, Jared. Thank you.
This one is Veliki Ochi. And Veliki means big. Kind of like I may have taught you guys Veliki Pivo, big beer.
I knew that sounded familiar.
Veliki is big. Veliki Ochi means big eyes. Big eyes.
I think I know.
I think I know it too.
Go ahead.
What is it, Don?
I mean, what I immediately go for is big eyes. I mean, when you're kind of checking out a girl, you get the big eyes and your eyes kind of go look like you're looking at a looker, that sort of thing.
Like a cartoon.
Like, whoa.
Hitting himself on the head as the
Okay.
eyes flash.
Yeah.
I mean,
Knowing Chad, I know you probably use that one a fair amount, but that's what I imagine. Just your eyes, just the look and the stare, like a rubberneck sort of thing.
oh, jeez.
It's like when you check out a chick.
Is it more?
This one isn't one that I would say you'd use if you were thirsty.
You would or wouldn't?
You would not use if you're thirsty.
Oh.
I mean, thirsty in the sense of checking out some ladies.
Right.
So it's
Or
not
some
about
dudes for our lady listeners out there.
Or our male listeners that are into that.
what's
That's
it? What's
also
it one
true,
more
too.
time, Chad?
Veliki Ochi. Big eyes.
Is it like? So it's nothing to do with temptation or tempting.
I mean, kind of.
Is it like
Very
the classic
loosely
English? Eyes are bigger than my mouth. Stomach.
Eyes are bigger than your stomach. Hit that ham horn, Jared. Good work.
Nice.
And so the example here is Yeah, so it's to indicate a hunger for something. That's why I said thirsty instead of hungry, right? Right. I was trying to lead you guys down that path. So yeah. So basically, an example would be if you put 2 pieces of cake on your plate and you are unable to eat both of them, a Czech will say you have masz velké oči. You have big eyes.
Yeah, and then
your tummy couldn't measure up.
The English translatable would be your eyes are bigger than your stomach.
Exactly.
So, Don, you were in Spain. You spent a couple of days in Barcelona. Did you pick up any words, phrases, anything? Anything?
Actually, surprisingly, I mean, I have more base level Spanish than I expected in my repertoire. I get the basics, but no, not really, because I met a lot of tourists who all knew a little bit. So we can get into that later, but not a lot of Spanish, to be honest. I didn't pick up any terms. I was a little nervous going there, so...
Let's see if maybe you didn't pick up a lot of the language. Let's see if you picked up the culture. Well, I'll give you some untranslatable, see if you can figure this out. No tener pelos en la legua. How would you... Lengua. No tener...
Lingua?
Yeah, Lengua.
Lengua.
No tener pelos en la lengua. What do you think that means, Chad? You know a little bit of Spanish.
Well, it's you don't have. I don't know what the noun is, and is it in the language?
No, lengua is tongue. To have hairs on your tongue. No, excuse me, not to have hairs on your tongue. My bad.
Yep.
Not to have hairs on your tongue?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No hairs.
It's a tricky one.
No hairs getting in the way of my tongue.
What?
Ooh. Slipping on gator piss. I just realized, though.
That could be misinterpreted for sure.
Yes, Jared.
For sure.
I did not realize that when I first said that.
I went there.
Oh, that's
I think you took both of us there, Don. And probably our listeners as well.
Every time Don touches one of those buttons, I freak out.
Well, I'm going like straight to the red yellow every time. I'm trying to be more conscious of my noise level, Jared.
No,
so
it's fine. It's just every time I see it, I'm like, oh god. But if you're, I'm sure you know what you're doing. Not to have hairs on your tongue. So, for example, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say hairs can be interpreted as rough, so it could be something about like. I don't know, like stumbling over your words, not being collected in your speech.
Well, I'm glad you. Well, yeah, okay, but not to have hairs on your tongue. So maybe what you just said would to have hair. That would be to have hair on your tongue.
Yeah, so you're like a smooth talker.
Yep. Kind of. It's not really about smooth talking. It's more. For example, I have a friend. He recently broke up with his girlfriend the other day, and he called me. And he's like, Jared, I need to talk to you. I don't have any hairs on your tongue. What do you think I should do in this situation?
I know what it is. I think. Should I give it to you guys?
Yeah.
Go for it.
I think it's to just speak freely and openly, yeah?
Yeah. Straightforward. Tell it like it is. Not to have hairs on your tongue.
Nice. Mm-hmm. I have one for Don that's Catalan, which is what they speak in Barcelona.
Okay.
And it is, oh God, I'm going to try to say this. We'll see. I'll start with the easy one. Quatre gats, which means 4 cats.
I'm going to guess it means unlucky.
Nope. Not unlucky.
4 cats. Can you use that in a sentence, please?
Yeah.
Etymology.
Okay, let's see here.
Yeah.
Say Jared and I decide to do a live podcast somewhere, right? At a coffee shop or whatever. We advertise it, and we're like, yeah, this is going to be a great turnout. We're going to have 100 people, right? And we get there, and there's 4 cats.
That sounds like exactly how that would go if we were to be in that situation.
No. You guys got to have more faith in the podcast here. The social media influencer intern over here hilarious. Thinks you guys can have more of a pull.
How so?
I mean, does it
By
mean like
not posting anything? Is that the trick?
Oh my God.
Listen, the only reason I say this is because you're the one that wanted to join the team. And you're the one that claimed you'd be a great social media person, and you've posted twice over a month.
He's a very busy guy, Jared.
You guys just gave me clearance when I came back.
We talked about this when we were in Prague, and I said,
when we were in Prague, but then we set up the rules and regulations.
What, like 2 weeks ago?
Now I know what to post. Yeah, and I've had 1 week back here, and I posted in the 2 weeks. In the last week, I'll start posting again.
It's okay. You don't have to do anything. I've gotten used to people letting me down as far as posting stuff.
I mean, what? It was a bust. It just kind of seemed...
Yeah, like pretty close. Yeah. Basically an event with low attendance.
4 cats.
4 cats.
Yeah. Speaking of 4 cats, thanks for those 4 reviews on iTunes, everyone. That's very nice of you. Mine is also Spanish, and this is very near and dear to my heart. And it's despedirse a la Francesca. So, a la Francesca is in the French style, and it means to say goodbye in the French style. Very near and dear to my heart.
Okay.
Is that like an Irish goodbye?
There you go. To leave without saying goodbye. To take a
I think in Czech they call it an English exit, if I remember correctly.
So everyone just has their own nationality to insult.
Right.
Because in the U.S., is it the U.S. that we call it an Irish exit? Or I mean, obviously in the U.S. we do, but I don't wonder if it originated there. I don't even know.
I would think so. All right, so I have one more. And so Don was in Spain. Also, Don was in Ireland. So I figured it would be good to pull out some Gaelic.
Okay. Some Gaelic. Okay.
Yeah, some Irish. Actually, let me refrain. Some Irish Gaelic, because I guess depending on who you ask, Gaelic can mean something else. So it's important to differentiate and say Irish Gaelic. So here we go.
Yes.
All right. Is min ik avrish be aldin en ahron, which means many a time a man's mouth broke his nose.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah, it's like putting words in your mouth, sort of thing. Like what am I looking for?
We have an English untranslatable.
Do we?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
God, I can't think of what I'm trying to say. Jared, go for it.
It's like you write a check that your mouth can't cash or something like that. Something like that. But it essentially means like...
Overpromise.
No, it's not overpromising. It's like say something that's going to get you in trouble, essentially.
Talk shit, get hit.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Can you say that one more time, Don?
Talk shit, get hit.
You betcha.
All right. Yeah, basically it just means your mouth can get you into a lot of trouble. So yeah, talk shit, get hit. Exactly.
That's one of my go-to terms over here. Talk shit, get hit. You get hype, you get hurt. Two go-tos.
My mouth has gotten me into a lot of trouble in school. I was always the smart ass in school that I almost prided myself on saying stuff that really wouldn't get me in trouble, but would like piss off the teacher. Not prided myself, but that was my signature move.
Walking the line there.
Right.
But
do you have any more, Jared?
That's all I have. Don.
All right, can I do one more Gaelic then?
Sure, yeah.
Because that one I think was too easy on y'all. All right.
Okay.
Let me see here. Okay, I have a couple up. Let me find one that's maybe not as easy. These are all pretty easy, I think. Could be because and Don can talk about this in the main segment in a moment. But I feel like Irish culture is not that far from American culture, especially because there is such a huge community of Irish people who live in the States who immigrated there a long time ago. Anyways, here we go. All right, here we go. This one I think is also pretty easy, but here we go.
Here we go.
Okay. Queer shed idal al gor ol ach a goer I gone I, which means dress a goat in silk and he still remains a goat.
Oh, we also have an English untranslatable similar to that.
How do you know all these things?
Jared, this is what we do at the Untranslatable Podcast, Don.
It's shocking, Don, to think that I'm not a complete idiot, because I'm sure Don just thinks of me as just a full R word. I assume it's like putting lipstick on a pig or whatever like that. Whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
There you go.
Good
Untranslatable master here.
Am I allowed to have one from the Bay Area?
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay, I got a few. I think you guys can know. They're pretty basic. They're just ones that I picked up being in San Francisco.
Basic.
Yeah, I think they're relatively straightforward, but you guys might have some trouble with them. So the first one is Carl is out.
I've never heard that before.
Carl is out. That's not like Elvis has left the building, is it?
What does that mean, though? Like, what does that actually mean?
I don't really know, actually, to be honest with you.
Carl is out.
I feel like Elvis has left the building means like the party's gone.
Oh, okay. Oh,
like
okay.
it's done.
I got
right?
you. I got you.
Carl is gone though, huh? Really? Okay.
Or is it like
Carl is gone?
Is it like the square? Like finally Carl's gone. Now we can have a good time or something like that.
No, this one is this one is very specific to San Francisco. You have to be very in tune with the
Carl
weather
Street
here.
Oh, okay.
Nope.
Oh, is it like the fog has passed?
Close.
Really?
The fog is coming in. Carl is out. The fog is in.
Okay.
So right now, Carl's creeping in right now. I can see it coming up over Twin Peaks.
Why do they call it Carl?
Carl the Fog, man. That's like the name of the fog here because the fog here is really bad. So like living in the Mission where I used to be was one of the best locations. And so Dolores Park, Dolo, is one of the like a really fun park to go to. Jared, we've been there, spent some time. Highly recommend it. It's like recess for adults on the weekends.
Yeah.
Big park, but like around 4 or 5, Carl rolls in.
Yeah.
And you just say
you get
Carl's
a great
rolling
view of
in.
Carl
Okay.
from what do you call it? Dolo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. Dolo. Right. That's also like a hip hop term.
Solo Dolo.
Yeah. And let me grab one more, and I just want to verify I have the right definition of it. I think you guys should get this. Well, so are you guys familiar that there's a lot of like Bay Area terminology that's out here?
Hella.
That, like, yep, hella is one of them.
That came from the Bay, huh?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
hyphy.
Cuz that's also from the most of this I'm getting from like listening to like isn't Ray J from the Bay Area or something like that?
Mac Dre.
I don't even know who that is. Anyway,
Yeah,
give us some.
Oh,
give it to us. I'm not a Bay Area professional.
The one that I was going to is Swoop.
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 Like swoop.
Could you use it in a sentence, or would that give it away?
It would give it away, but I can try. The definition is, it's one that you have to use, but I'm gonna come through and swoop you.
Oh,
Would be
so
an
I'm gonna
example.
pick you up.
Yeah. And there's
I
a
mean,
few,
in Michigan, I hear people say scoop, not swoop, but scoop.
Swoop.
Like, can you scoop me later?
yeah.
Oh, I've never heard that either.
Yeah. Maybe it's a Lansing thing.
No, I just think I don't have any friends. I think that's what it is. No one's asking me to pick them up from anywhere.
And then there's one more, but it is pretty straightforward. Is slaps.
Oh yeah, I know that one. I didn't know that was a
What's
Bay
that
Area
one?
thing.
Yep. So
What's that? Slaps?
So the main so the ones I was looking through is like the town is considered Oakland, San Francisco, the city is one of those. Hella is a big San Francisco term, or hecka, depending on what you want to say.
Yeah, this is a family podcast. Please.
Really, it is. I did not know that.
Swoop. Sorry, what'd you say it was again?
Slaps?
Oh yeah, slaps.
Slaps.
It's like that. That's like something slaps, or it's like that's awesome, or it's like
Yeah.
this music slaps, or this food slaps.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You know, there's
Good work, Jared.
There's a similar one kind of similar one in Louisiana where they say like slap your mama good. Where
Yeah.
it's like it's so good it makes you want to slap your mama.
Slap your mama.
And they have a seasoning like
Interesting.
slap your mama seasoning. But yeah, thanks Don. Thanks for some Bay Area untranslatables.
No problem.
But now let's talk about your time abroad. So can you
Okay.
first give us a quick rundown of where you went after you left? So we last talked to you when we were in Prague, and then
Yes.
I went back home and you continued on.
Yeah, so prior to Prague, I was in London, then Prague. Then I went to Dublin for a night, Galway, which is Western Ireland, for 2 nights, back to Dublin for a night, Barcelona for 3 nights, back to Dublin for a night. My parents flew out, Kilkenny for 2 nights, Southern Ireland, Kinsale for a night, Bray, which is south of Dublin, for a night, Dublin
Jeez.
for 2 nights, and then Amsterdam for 2 nights.
Was
So I was
that-
gone for about 3 weeks.
And that was 3 weeks that you just said right there?
That was 2 weeks.
Okay. Oh, right. Because I see you're in Prague for some of that too.
Yeah.
That is a lot.
Yeah, so I spent the longest I spent in one place was Barcelona, was 3 nights in the same bed. Outside that, it was a max of 2 nights, which is very hard to travel.
How did you like organize and plan all of this? And how did you like figure out how long you'd stay and all that stuff?
A lot of it was winging it, surprisingly. So I outlined the trip, which was beforehand is like, all right, what are the key things that I want to do? So girlfriend was there for work. She was on rotation in Dublin, so that's why I kept going back to Ireland. So Ireland trips were things she wanted to do. So after I saw you guys, we went to Galway, which is near where the Cliffs of Moher is. We stay in this really pretty house, met some great people. John and Cara are amazing. They're great Airbnb hosts if you ever want to go. But we went to the Cliffs of Moher down there and just kind of hung out and had a relaxing weekend. And that was the main thing Alyssa wanted to do in Ireland, so that's how that came up. And then Barcelona, I've always wanted to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to comment on the Cliffs of Moher.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yes.
Don had one of the greatest Instagram pictures I've ever seen in my life.
Yep.
Yeah, so this will drop on the gram. I think it has to. But so we're walking around the Cliffs of Moher. For you guys who don't know, they're the cliffs on the western coast of Ireland, and it's known to be very windy, like extremely windy. They're very pretty, but they're not as big as I expected. They're like very underwhelming. But what made it very entertaining was the wind. I'm a huge fan of wind. I like it, but a lot of people aren't used to it.
Never heard anyone say something like that before. What do you like about
It's very-
wind?
Right.
It's very entertaining if when you can jump up in the air and it like moves you back a few feet. Like it's just entertaining.
One of
to
those
play
things
with.
where you like lean forward like that.
Oh,
and you
no,
just
full on.
balance
That-
there.
My girlfriend was doing that, and so I was just having a blast. And we were walking around, and so like I don't know, like I think they say like 10 or 15 people die a year because there's parts that aren't gated off from the edge, and a gust of wind will blow you off.
Whoo.
Yeah, it's and
What a
so
way
we
to
stay in the
go.
safe area. It was a very
man.
windy day, and so like I was just going through taking a few videos. And there's one where I'm just like panning, taking like a selfie, and behind me, Alyssa is walking, and she like literally like stumbles backwards
I
and
saw that.
falls, and then I start just dying laughing.
And she's like hiding behind that brick wall just for like holding on for dear life.
Yeah, but the funniest part occurred. So we're walking back. This is another night where I made some friends. We'll bring up Lauren and Charlotte later.
How do you remember all these people's names? I messed up your
they-
guys' names, and I've known you for years.
They follow me on IG.
Okay.
My social media presence, you know, trying to really go multi-nation, multi-country out there with it. So we go there and we ask these two lovely ladies to take our picture, and I'm like, hey, can you guys just stand there? We'll stand right here. They're about 15 feet away from us, and it's literally as they're about to take the picture, just a huge gust of wind. Alyssa went from near my side to like 5 feet away, and these tourists just fall right into like my left arm. And so my left arm is holding these tourists, and my right arm is trying to grab Alyssa, but it looks like I'm like, the first picture is me telling the ladies to take the picture. So I'm like smiling. Then like the two screens after that, I try to look and grab Alyssa, but it's an open palm. It looks like I'm trying to smack the crap out of these ladies, but I'm just grabbing for Alyssa. And my face, once I have Alyssa, is just me, just pure joy, while everybody else is just huddled up, and Alyssa doesn't look too happy. And then there's one specific woman in the picture who started out in the first picture, but got blown out of it.
It literally looks like something from like Day After Tomorrow or like
Yes.
2012, those those weather apocalypse movies where like Don looks like he has this face where it's like, come with me if you want to live.
That's what I felt like it was. and afterwards,
Grab my hand.
It was Charlotte and Lauren were in tears. We were laughing so hard. Alyssa and I stopped at the bar and like looked at the pictures, and we were dying. It's the one time I wish I had my live pictures ready. If you had live photos for that, it would have been so much more entertaining.
That would have been great. Yeah, I mean, I saw him on Instagram and I was cracking up at my desk.
Yeah, they were pretty good.
Yeah, it was epic. And so we actually met up with them. We were looking around because we wanted to see them, because we said bye, we walked around. I wanted to show them the pictures because after we got inside and looked at them, they were really funny. And so that was a great time. Love Galway. I actually drove a lot in Ireland, which is Jared, I would like to go to Ireland with you and drive.
Okay.
Let's rent a six speaks. It is so much fun. The roads are so skinny.
And they drive on the other side of the road than
Yes,
we do?
it was. Yeah,
On the left side.
How was
side.
getting used to that?
a lot harder than well, it wasn't that bad once you got used to like your pointers, but like everything that we've been taught, right?
Yeah.
Is flip-flops. So like you're used to having a lot of space on the right side and that gauge is there. Then the left side, you kind of know where it is. Well, it's flip-flops. Like I was riding the left-hand side way more, which freaks out your passenger because I didn't have that gauge. So towards the end, I got it, but the back roads were those were so much fun, but so scary.
I've heard that, you know, when you switch sides like that, a lot of people do tend to like rub and curb their wheels on the other side because they're not used to that feeling.
Yeah, and once I got used to it, you just focus on a different point, you adjust, but the back roads were the most fun.
I can imagine.
Seriously, it's about just enough for 2 cars to get by. I smacked mirrors with a car. It tapped my mirror in. And that was crazy because like it's just enough where you kind of have to wrap on the edge. There's a few times and you're going like 60 miles an hour and you just go for it around these corners, and it was a blast. Mm-hmm. So that was fun. Then drove her down to Cork, then back up. Dublin was great for a night. I went to Stag's Head, which is a bar. My boss used to live in Dublin, so recommended it. Met this wonderful couple, Hunter and Kaylee. They're recently married. They're from Oklahoma. Love the accents. They were a lot of fun, but we can dig into the friends side of this later. That was my first true night in Dublin. Then Barcelona was just a blast. Made friends my first night there. This guy named Bills, hands down the most interesting, I guess you consider him a fuck boy, but he's considered a bad boy in London. Just a bad boy is what this guy...
Can you give us and the listeners some context on that, Don?
On what a fuck boy is, or exactly. What Bills was like?
And or a London bad boy, or yeah.
How is he technically?
Tell us more about this guy, because I'm curious.
Technically.
Okay, so...
Is that like his status on Instagram? You know how you have like personal blog? He just says fuckboy/bad boy.
I guess his license says that, but...
Yeah. So first of all, his name is Bills, which made me question. So I met him out. I was like, hey, man, you want to go? Like, I didn't know anybody. He seemed like cool people when I first met him. Didn't get his social media yet, so I didn't really know what he was like.
How'd you meet him, though? You used to say it like you just gloss over that, like you just started, like you just...
Was he like at your hostel or?
We met at a bar.
Okay.
Yeah, we met at a bar. Seemed like cool people, and you know me, I like going out with somebody, right? So I was like, hey, can we link up later? Like, I want to go see there's like this set of clubs that are right kind of nearby, and we're staying in the middle. So we did that. He goes, oh yeah, I met this other guy at my hotel, which is Edom. Edom is amazing. We ended up hanging out the whole trip, and that night realized Edom,
not Adam.
Edom. Ethem, Edom.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
He's from London as well. First vacation. But Bill's, once I got to know him, he's like, told me he had a lady friend about 8 years, but he was actively trying to go after one of the girls he met at a marijuana shop last time he was there last weekend.
That's some fuckboy activities for sure.
Oh yeah, very much so. And then and once that girl wasn't available, he went after somebody else that was at the weed shop, and he showed me her. Her name's actually Francesca, because I met her. She came out for a little bit.
Weed shop in Barcelona?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
There are weed shops in Barcelona. You just have to know the right people. Yeah, it's.
Do you mean like a head shop, or what do you mean?
Like marijuana.
Well,
what do you mean what do you mean like a head shop?
Like a head shop's where you would buy like pipes and shit.
No, I mean like actual they have like little. What's it called? My buddy was telling me there. I walked past one of the places. It's called like Kush. It's just like this random door that you go knock on. You go in and you pay like $20, and you can get your medical card in Barcelona and smoke inside. There's a lot of them apparently, because we followed.
Interesting. I didn't know that about Barca. Okay.
Yeah, we followed Bills to another location that night, and
he's
met one
Spanish,
of his.
By the way, Bills.
No, he's from London.
Okay, is that the guy that was like in your pictures on Instagram?
One of them,
light skinned looking dude.
No, that's Edom. Edom was in more of my pictures. Bills was just the first night, and so we were like, all right, we'll go out. Like, he had this connection at the club, so we got him one of the clubs for free. But like before that, like kind of leading up to, I got his Instagram of like shirtless pictures, him trying to flex with his Mercedes. When I asked him what he did, he goes, I do some real estate. I do a lot of things. I'm like, okay.
I bet he does.
Drug dealer.
Yeah.
I've got some investments in different places.
Yeah.
Who's asking?
Yeah, that's what trended towards, and that's where I started to separate myself, because we met up with him. Ed and I had to meet up with him, and he was meeting this guy. Very sketchy situation, because he had to meet a business deal at some other marijuana place. And so we waited outside and we saw them both exit. And the dude came out, tried to give him a bottle of booze, and just a very sketchy looking individual.
Okay.
So that night, immediately, I'm like, all right, Edom, you and me are together. We're going to own the night. Like, let's just hang out. And Edom started to open up. He goes, this is my first time ever going out. Like, I'm 19. I just got done with, like, high school, the equivalent of high school. He's going to be a pilot. And so that night.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, great guy. Like, the nicest kid in the world. First ever time traveling alone. I took this guy under my wing.
As Don tends to do.
Yeah. It turned out to be my favorite part of the trip because just meeting with him and hanging out, it was like, wow, like he hasn't traveled much, but you know what? Like it's a place where you can kind of mentor somebody because traveling is a skill set you pick up. So the first place we went to this bar place, club. There's this strip of clubs that are like right in the water. So it's actually kind of pretty if you like sit outside.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, there's like 5 right in a row. And it's not too expensive to get in. I just snuck in the back way. I decided to go to the bathroom. They let me in. Bills went in the other way. He tried to pay for something out. I don't know what he did. He was being Bills. And that's a joke Adam and I came up with, just saying we Billsing around. So I walk in there, get in there, go to the back, come back, and Bills is talking to these women. I'm like, no, please no, Bills. Like, I know what you're trying to do, but don't do it to these women. They seem very nice. So I come in, make conversation with sleep with them. Like, he was just trying to get somebody to come back to his hotel. That was his main goal.
He's trying to pick them up.
Yeah, but he's not very good at it. He kept trying to show pictures on his phone and trying to, you know, flex on them.
Yeah,
and
that'll never work.
Yeah, so I immediately noticed that. I interjected with Sandra, one of the friends, and so Sandra goes, yeah, let's see how far he gets. That girl has a boyfriend. I go, great, he has a girlfriend. And so Sandra and I were just talking the rest of the night with Edom. We're trying to get Edom to go dance with people. And it was the most entertaining thing. So it's a different culture. Granted, the place we're at was like tourist night, or not tourist night, but like foreigners night. But there's a mix. A lot of girls salsing, kind of dancing on their own. They can dance there far better than the States. And so we got Edom to go dance with people. He'd come back so excited. I'm like, did you get a number? He's like, no, but he made efforts. Sandra and I coached him up.
That sounds like my worst nightmare.
Also, we need to take Jared to Barcelona, get him out of his comfort zone.
Yes.
But can I just interject? One, I think it's like I've never been able to pull a number on the dance floor because you're so busy dancing, like it breaks it up and it makes it awkward. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, I mean, not like on the dance floor. I mean, like what I've done in the past.
Like dance with them and then...
Yeah, then you go get the number.
Drink. I gotcha. And can I ask you, Don, so you mentioned... I wanted to hear your story, which is why I didn't interrupt you. But I want to know... So you mentioned, traveling is definitely a set of skills. And I agree 100%. Could you kind of share with us what some of those skills are and kind of how you mentored Edom and all that good stuff?
Yeah, so traveling internationally is a whole different base than traveling like in the States, but it kind of requires the same like mindset. You have to be ready for certain situations. That's the skill set that I'm prepping for. It kind of goes back to I have like core values or things I live by. You have to learn, and you have to learn how to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And so when you're traveling alone, you're going to be in uncomfortable situations. You have to kind of just put yourself out there. Go make conversation. It's a time where no one's going to remember who you are. Just go say hi, make friends, and don't come off too aggressive. Just come off being a friend. And when you end up doing that, you end up actually having a better time. And so the main thing is being down for whatever. Just saying yes, trying new things, going out past your bedtime, doing things that you normally wouldn't do because that pushes yourself. And the biggest ways that you can grow in life is pushing your boundaries, pushing what you're comfortable with. And that's something I've worked hard on. I was a very homebody, didn't like to travel. I was scared to talk to new people. Before college, I didn't eat any food I didn't know about. And now it's like, oh, you come in traveling. All right, where can I go meet people? Where's the first place I want to go touristy stuff? Who else looks like a tourist? Can I offer to take their picture? You figure out these ways to socialize with others that make it not as, oh, this is an alone trip. And so the key things are that I would say things that I've learned traveling is one, travel light. Don't bring much stuff. Try to bring as little as possible. You can always buy stuff while you're traveling. You just want to be nimble. Always bring a small day bag. That's the key thing. Have a bag that you can just bring with you because it's key because you don't know about climate change there, the temperature, if it fluxes. Always carry cash in multiple places. I kept 50 euros in each shoe just in case somebody stole my wallet.
That sounds like a real Chad paranoia move right there.
Yeah.
Except I've never done that before. I never keep money in different places, but I think now I might start to. That's a good idea.
I keep it in the shoes, and I keep it in the back of my phone, just to know, like, if anything happened, I can get back to the hotel. Because, I mean, when you're traveling, you're more likely to lose stuff. People target tourists. But the main thing to pick up on is be social. Push your social boundaries. Go say hi to somebody. Offer to take a picture. Ask someone to take your picture. There's very little things you can do to create that first interaction. Because once you do that, you can end up having a great time. Kind of having no agenda. Set the main things you want to do and try to get the main touristy things done the first day so you can really explore and let the trip take you. And that's the most fun, because you don't have, like, to me, like, the touristy things are great, but the most fun you have are when you don't expect anything and you go to them doing it. The first night we were there, met somebody, we went out, talked with people at a bar, had a great time. I left home early. I just wanted to leave. The ladies we were talking to didn't leave. Adam didn't leave. Like, I was ready to go home. And that's another thing.
Said goodbye French style.
Yeah. The other thing is, when you're ready to go home, like, it's your vacation, your agenda. Don't feel obligated to people that you just met to stay out late. Like, and that's what I really appreciated. That what I've started to do is, like, hey, if I'm traveling with my girlfriend, we have the same cadence. Like, when we're both ready to go, if she's ready to go, we'll go. But when I'm traveling alone, it's definitely my agenda. Just because there's people I met doesn't mean you need to stay out, because you want to be alive the next day. And that's kind of thing. Pack light, hit the touristy things first. Always be open to conversation. Bring an extra battery charger with you wherever you go, because you might be out longer. Store money in extra areas, and just be uncomfortable. Push yourself. Go to places you wouldn't normally go, because that's the time that you can grow as an individual. Then you'll find what you like, and it sets up for other trips. And that's what I put Adam to do. He didn't really know how to travel. So he was like, I could tell he was awkward about, like, trying to ask, hey, do you want to go do touristy stuff with me? I'm like, hey, and I kind of noticed, I'm like, hey, do you want to link up tomorrow? We want to go see the same things. And we did. So putting yourself out there, because what's the worst that can happen? They can say no. It hurts, but it's no. Right?
Right. And it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. And you're just traveling, so you learn. And so that's why I pushed him to do. Do things that make you uncomfortable. So we traveled, had a great time. It's also great when you meet someone when you're traveling alone. They can take your picture. You can take their picture. Those sort of things. You get someone who can help document your trip with you. And it makes it a lot more fun when you can be like, hey, what about this? What about that? And you can make decisions on the fly where you don't feel as much pressure. And that was the most fun. With Adam, I was just like, hey, this is when you decide, like, you do cheat meals. You try not to Uber or taxi as much. Plan out your day. Small meals is another rule of thumb that I go by, because you never know where you're going to see cool food. And you always want to eat cool food when you're traveling, stuff you can't get. So we specifically ate very small meals to be like, oh, wow, we went to La Bucaria, which is the big market there. And, oh, man, that was good. So I was glad I was on an empty stomach, because I went back there a few times. Like, we swung by, got some meat. They had great fresh fruit. Shout out Alex Yaw for that one. She recommended it. I was so happy.
Nice.
That was one of my favorite places. But those
How was the language barrier there?
It was actually fine. I was able to get around just fine. Like, I used that Translate app that you showed me a few times, but most of the time, my broken half Spanish gave me around. But also, you have to understand, if you can navigate yourself well, you'll be fine traveling. But if you're not a good navigator, that's really hard. So know your skill strengths. Always have Google Maps. I like walking around the area first where I'm staying, and, like, the immediate area, so I always know how to get home, because you don't know if you've had too much to drink one night, phone gets stolen, all that stuff. And so there's a range of things. And that's kind of like the heavy hitters that I talked with Adam, and he started to live them by the end. I mean, the last night we went out, he danced with some people, and we were like, the last day there, we met this. So we went to... I don't know if I posted it, but when we were in Barcelona, we went to, I forget the name of it. It was the Pretty Sunset. We went to up there. We met these two ladies who were visiting from, I don't even know where they're from. I think they're also from London. And so I made friends with them, took their picture. We went out to dinner with them and just ran with a night of hanging out with them, which was amazing. And they took our pictures, and we just ended up having a good night, and we were just being flexible. And it was just those little things make your trip a lot more fun. And then you make friends with them, and then you have memories. And then if you go to their country, they'll definitely see you and give you recommendations. So there's a lot there that you can do, just being flexible. And, yeah, running with it.
That's one of my, I want to do a solo international trip at some point. And that's something that makes me very nervous, is I know how I carry myself here in the U.S., and it's a very solitary way that I live my life. And I don't want to do that when I go there. Like, I want to live like you're talking about, but it kind of goes against everything inside of me. And it's like, I almost feel like I'm going to be wasting my trip if I just go there and don't do what you're talking about. But I don't know if I can.
Yeah. You can. I mean, just push yourself.
I can, I guess. That's true. Yeah. It's not that I can't do it, but...
Be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Right. And tip number 2, Jared, wear that fly jacket you bought.
Yeah.
problem
Make
solved.
yourself approachable. Make yourself approachable. I mean, that's one of the other things is just know how other countries, like people will be interested in you. People will be interested in you in travel. Like that's a common thing. And so just know like, hey, when you're out traveling, people will listen to your accent. They'll know where you're from, but you are interesting. And so asking for a simple picture, those things will happen. And that's how you can just, once you get make your first friend and you just know how to make that first intro, like the hardest part, I think I'm thinking about is how do you even make that first interaction, right? Mm-hmm. Like how do you even say hi?
Exactly.
It's as simple as when I met Hunter and Kaylee in the bar in Dublin, I simply saw he was playing with his ring way too much. And I could hear their accent was off, and she just had an absolute rock on her finger. And so I was like, oh, did you guys recently get married? I see that you've been playing with your ring a little bit. It looks good. He goes, oh, yeah, we just got married in France. And, just paying a little attention to what they're doing. We hung out the entire night, went to an amazing comedy club, got drinks. Phenomenal. It was great. And that was as little as it is. So paying attention to the little thing, because people will find if you find something interesting in them, what if they wear? Do they have a different watch? Can you connect with something? They'll talk with you. Like those one guys that we met in Prague. I found something they knew how to talk about, and we went with it.
Right.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're right. Yeah, I'm with you. So how was, it seems like Barcelona was the highlight of this trip because you've talked mostly about Barcelona, and you kind of sped through all the Ireland and United Kingdom stuff.
Well, I think the rest of the trip kind of starts getting going now, though, because after I saw you guys, I had a relaxing weekend with Alyssa, but then my parents came to town after Barcelona. And Barcelona was my first time truly traveling alone where I had nobody, and that was like my true adventure. Like I stayed in a great hotel in the Gothic Quarter, perfect. But then when my parents came to town, we went to the oldest building that they know of in the world in Newgrange. It's this thing that was built over 5,000 years ago by the stone people. They literally don't know who built it. They're just the stone people, and they don't know how they did it. And that was one of the coolest structures I've ever seen. It was a burial ceremony room where only on the winter solstice, the sun shines through the entryway for 16 minutes. And they somehow were able to create that architecture so it happens like that, which is unreal.
This building that looks like a dome?
Yes.
Like with grass on top?
Yes. They restored it once. And I would say go. Like when they close the door and they actually like turn the room off, it is no light gets in. It's waterproof. Like it's impressive terrifying. What they did. Like they had to source stones from hundreds of miles away and know the architecture. And it's really impressive. Went there with my parents and we went down to Kilkenny, which is, I would say listeners out there, if you're going to Ireland and you want to go out weekend in Kilkenny, you have to do it. Oh my God.
Tell us about
it was rowdy. So first off, I'm there with my parents. So I'm scoping out, asking the bartender, the Airbnb guy that we stay at, like, oh, where's some places to go? And we went to, I think it was called, let me pull this up, because it was one of my favorite, it was like one of the oldest bars there, used to be a hotel. Went there with my parents and Alyssa. We had a great dinner there. Sorry, I'm trying to pull this thing up. It was called, it was another basement bars, Kilkenny. It was called, I knew I had a picture of it. Nope, don't. Not sure. I don't have anything saved. I have to pull it up. But it was this old bar that had like a downstairs area, similar to the place we went to in Prague. And that's where he started. And we started down there watching.
Kittlers?
Yeah, Kittlers.
Kittlers Inn.
Yeah, we were staying right near it, and immediately it's a Saturday night there. Like, I kid you not, there were maybe 25, 30 women there, just all women groups in the basement. I'm just like, what is going on? Like, is this normal? And they're dressed like they're ready to club, being loud, ripping drinks, taking pictures. And then there's like 30-year-old men, and they're like early, mid-20s. I'm like, there's something off here. When are the guys going to come through? They didn't, which was confusing. But then we left, wandered around. But the place that I would like to go to with you guys is this place called Left Bank. This place has 7 different bars on the main floor.
Oh, sweet.
True bars. And it is like the most windy, cool, woodworked place. Like the fans are on kind of these belts. They all move together. They have an outdoor TV area. Their fish and chips were amazing. That place, they said, they shut their doors Saturday night. We couldn't get in. It was too full. They have a club upstairs. They're opening up a third level, and I want to go out there. They said this is one of the most popping bars in Ireland, and I could see why. I mean, there's bars there's so many bars in it. There's an upstairs, there's live music, and it's like Irish music that they play in a club setting, which is pretty cool. And the nightlife there every night was just popping. And there were a lot of young people there. And then we went to a place the next night, Sunday night, and listened to some great Irish music. And these guys were just playing these songs. And they really love, I think it's Spice Girls over there. They're a big fan of Spice Girls. They played this one song, and all the young people just went absolutely crazy. Started doing what's the little dancey thing they do, the river dancing and all that stuff.
Really?
Yeah, people were
no way.
Yes.
Tell me what you want. What you really want.
You didn't film this?
I think I did because at
Is
this,
that Spice Girls? I think it is.
I really hope you filmed that because oh my god, that's crazy.
I got bits and pieces of it because when we were there were these like older women were getting hit on by this like disgustingly drunk Irish guy. Like I walked up to them because like my mom was like, "Hey, can you go try to get that guy away?" Like ask him to go.
Why has everyone in your family got to be a superhero?
No,
like,
this was no.
Leave people alone.
No, they came over to us like help. Like they gave us their stuff. They're like because we started talking with them, and I just like got the guy distracted, brought them over, and I don't even know where I was going with this story. But yeah, we do have to help people.
How was it traveling with your parents? What were some of the trouble spots for you?
I do have a video, so I'll send that to you guys later.
Sweet.
The trouble spots were I thought they'd be a little bit more prepared.
Wow, so.
We winged it a lot more, just like not quite knowing where to go.
Oh, okay.
Like we wandered a lot, which is a little bit annoying.
I don't see your dad as a travel preparer. Maybe your mom, but I couldn't imagine your dad doing any preparation. No offense.
He didn't. Okay. This was my mom's trip, which makes sense. My dad's very relaxed when he travels. He just kind of goes with it, which I think is good for him because he's a very much so planner. Everything's organized. He gets up and does his walks.
This is just an older version of you. That's exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you do.
You're just running and not walking.
Yeah, mine is like I'll go drink and have some fun. By the way, Guinness there is phenomenal. I had a lot of Guinness. I love Guinness. It goes down like water.
In comparison to Pilsner?
Oh yeah, I can pound a Guinness. I guarantee I could pound a pint of Guinness faster than you can pound a Pilsner.
Yeah, of course.
Hands down.
Duh. You could finish 2 beers before I could finish a glass of water.
Well, I feel like Pilsner goes down so much smoother. Now, I've never had Guinness in Ireland, but I've had it in Austria and other places in Europe. Interesting.
I can drink Guinness. I did a 1-sip Guinness in like maybe 12 seconds.
Seems like you fit right in Ireland, huh?
But yeah, I think the main thing that made it hard with the parents is driving in the car. It was hard because it's a stressful situation when you have my mom, my dad, myself all in one car, and if something happened to us, my brother's home alone. So I think that's where the anxiety came up with my mom, which is a very valid point. We're driving to another country. We're driving on roads on the other side. We're halfway across the world, and that could happen. So that just creates a little
foolish to me.
Tense moments.
They could have crashed in the airplane flying over there.
But they weren't with me. The catch is we were all in the same car, and I get that.
Like the State of the Union or something. You got to keep the vice president off site just in case.
Yeah. But yeah, so besides that, like I like traveling with them. We saw some cool places. I mean, Kilkenny was great. There's a castle there. We went down to Kinsale, which is down near the water. Went to this place called Fishy Fish.
Okay.
I think I had maybe one of my top 5 meals ever there. Their monkfish was one of the best things I've ever had. Over risotto, oh my god, it was so good. So good.
Speaking of the monkfish, can we talk food?
Oh yeah.
I want to know about Spain. What was going on in Spain, food wise? Did you get used to Did you like eat dinner at like 10 o'clock and get on that schedule?
So yes, most nights we would eat it like 4 or 5 because we had small meals mostly. But yeah, we kind of just snacked. So Spain was the favorite food of mine. like top food, I love fish and chips, so having a lot of that was great. But in Spain, I mean, the tapas that we had, we went to where was this place? I took a picture of it. That place was, I got to find it real quick because it's a big recommendation if you gotta go. Went to, where's the Instagram?
Caracoles?
Catalina.
Oh, okay.
Where's my IG story? Cerveza?
So that's Spanish for beer.
Cerveza, beer.
Cerveceria.
Cerveza Catalana.
Yeah, it's one of the best tapas place, and that place was just phenomenal. I had 2 pictures of sangria to myself with these wonderful other people that we met, and that was just a great time. But yeah, I think it was just like some of my favorite food was just the meat market, the La Bucaria in Barcelona. Just the fresh fruit that you can get there, the meat, the small plates. That was just amazing, and that was really just the most memorable food that we had. The last night there with Edam, we met these 2 ladies. I'm blanking on their names. Really nice. They took pictures with us up at the Sunset place, and we went to dinner. We ended up going out with them later, but we went to this place, dinner with them. We just overlooked tourists and walked around. And that was good. I think it was just the social, how slow pace is to eat. You aren't feeling rushed. I like that.
Yeah. My parents still talk a lot about that when we go to restaurants, is that they often feel rushed because there's in the U.S. they operate on turnover, and in Europe it's more like you have that table for the night if you want it. And so it's a lot more relaxed. They take longer times to bring you your food, but that's the point. It's like they do it on purpose.
They ask you if you're ready for your food.
Right.
Like, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were the highlights. I mean, food-wise, I enjoyed it. I mean, it's a little bit hard. I'm allergic to shellfish. So Barcelona, there's some fish on the menu, so you have to be a little bit careful. But yeah, that was great. One of my other top nights was actually in Bray, south of Dublin. The hotel that my mom picked, hands down, my mom picked great places. I was very impressed. She luckily did it. She actually goes, I need your help next time. So the place that she picked was this hotel that had one of the most poppin' bars. So Alyssa went to there's a European like Euro Cup prep league game that Alyssa was at, and I watched the game there at the bar, and it was popping. It was packed. People are there. My parents are like, oh yeah, we're going to watch and go to bed. So I stayed out a little bit later, saw some young people trickle in, and man, that started the night. So like I heard someone sing happy birthday to them, and so this was a way to make a social conversation. So I'm there alone watching the game. I'm in my sweatpants. I'm just having a glass of wine. I'm just trying to relax. Like it's been a long week, and so I hear like, oh my God, happy birthday, and I'm like, perfect. I got a way in to say hi to these people, and this is where I end up meeting Thomas and friends. There's a few of them that I end up meeting. So I just strategically go up to the bar at the same time as them, and I kind of say, hey, happy birthday. Glad you're out celebrating it. This is actually a pretty cool place. They're like, oh, yeah, we know about the bartenders. This is a place we've been going to eat for years. They're like, what are you doing here? So I immediately had my in-bed conversation. So that starts the night, right? Like you have friends now based on a very small topic. You don't seem threatened. You're like, oh, yeah, I'm just traveling alone. They're like, oh, come sit with us. So I sat with them.
Man.
Started to drink.
What the fuck am I doing?
It's that easy, Jared. It really is that easy.
And of course, like I have a girlfriend. It could have gone different ways if you're single. Like you could have flirted with them. One of the girls said, oh, yeah, I'm going into Dublin for the night. Like you could have done a lot. Like it's very easy in, but don't be threatening. That's the main thing. Be nice and be interested in both men and women. Just make conversation. So They were there, learned that like one of the bartender's dad brews one of their beers. So beer in Ireland's like 2 or 3%. It's very light. And so he was like, oh yeah, you got to try this beer. So I got it. And it's like a typical like 5-6%er. And I get the beer, I get back and I have one little swig. I go, oh, it's not bad. And he goes, what do you mean not bad? I go, well, I could probably drink it I could probably chug it. He goes, I don't think you can. Pounded it. Just took it straight to the head. And that's when he handed me another one. I took that one to the head. And that's when I started to realize, okay,
yeah, that
these
can
beers
keep going
are
on forever also.
Yeah.
That could be a never-ending process that you just got yourself into.
Right.
Yeah. And so that just like, they are like, oh man, this guy's pretty cool. He can drink. And so we just started drinking the rest of the night, main conversation. This Thomas guy was like, oh man, I like the shirt you have on. Can you get me it? He likes drawing stuff. I'm like, yeah, man, give me your contact information. So I got his Instagram. Hit me up. He's going to send me some cool Ireland gear gear, maybe some rugby or soccer garb. And that was the night. Like, we just hung out. I stay out to like maybe like 12 or 1 with them, and we closed the bar out and had a great time. And that's as simple as it is. Just throw yourself out there. What's the worst they can say? Oh, yeah, great, and shut you down. Or you can just
get out of here, fuck boy.
Yeah. I know Bill's over here. I ain't trying to make my own vegan protein shake that he's trying to do.
Gross.
I don't know why. Yeah, I know. But yeah, that was the trip. Then we went back to Dublin for 2 nights with the parents. And then Amsterdam was my highlight, man. I had to end with Amsterdam. Spent 2 nights there. We stay in this little bridge house. So when the operators used to operate the bridge, they had to stay in there. We rented one of those out, and I had a blast. It was my first time traveling with Alyssa, where she's truly on vacation, and I love Amsterdam. We both decided, like, hey, if we want to go back, like, I would live in Amsterdam. I love the biking. I just love the city. It was pretty. I love the canals. I love how accessible it is. Yeah, it's beautiful.
It is amazing.
I was shocked. I've been to Barcelona, but it was a long time ago.
You mean Amsterdam?
No, I'm talking about Barcelona. I was shocked by your pictures from Barcelona. Barcelona looked amazing.
Oh, yeah. I pictured it out.
But yeah, Amsterdam's great. Did you talk to people there? Because that's also a thing that Chad and I noticed in Amsterdam. Probably one of the nicest countries I've ever been to.
Oh, yeah. They're very nice. Not as much. This is the end of the 3-week trip, so I'm getting kind of tired. We're walking around.
There, too. It helps having your girlfriend there to sort of... helps, but that kind of stops you from maybe starting up as many conversations.
I mean, we made a few conversations. We did the Adams Lookout swing, so we literally swung over like the ledge of this, like, I don't know, like maybe like 40-story building, which I thought was amazing. I wanted to kind of just hang over it. So I rock climb. I like the little adrenaline stuff. You asked me that 4 or 5 years ago, I would have been deadly scared pissing my pants.
Yeah,
that's one way. Overcome your fears.
Remember when we did the ropes course in college?
Oh God!
We did a ropes course in summer school. We went to like this for our business program. We went to like this little ropes course thing, and that was what Don's talking about. Don used to be legitimately terrified because I witnessed it. And
God.
Nice.
We're talking like 20 feet in the air here, and I couldn't like walk.
Props to Don for trying it, but he got stuck in a place that he refused to go any farther, and the where he was at, he had to wait for like essentially everyone to finish before he could go down. So he was literally for a solid like 20-30 minutes just hugging this one pole, just waiting for people to get out of his way. And now he's rock climbing and going 40 stories up swinging.
Yeah, I'm actually I'm hiking North Dome in Yosemite, which is I think we're pushing. It's going to be like a 20-some pitch, 25, 26 pitch climb to get to the top of it. But it's one of the more epic climbs. I'm doing that in May. And so that's one thing. Hey, people, push yourself. Be comfortable being uncomfortable. Like, I'm scared of heights, and you know what? I pushed myself rock climbing. I got over it, and now I love it. Like, I mean, I can hike better. I can be out better. Like, tops of buildings don't scare me anymore because you realize, like, how safe you can be. And so it's one of the things. Get comfortable. But yeah, Amsterdam, people were friendly. Everyone was great. I liked the food there. Went to a great meat place, Café de Clos. Oh my God, the ribs there were so good. Went to a pancakes place. The food there is great. The people were great, very nice. We were just both kind of tired, so we were back in early most nights. The little boathouse, little bridge house that we stay at was right next to a bar. It's like I snapped a picture, and I was drinking a beer. And by the way, they pour really small beers there, really small. They have like half beers. I didn't know how to ask for a full beer. I don't know if that's a thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, Amsterdam ending was great. I think Amsterdam was my favorite city to go back to with Alyssa. I would love to spend more time in Barcelona, but she wasn't too much fan. I think I need to learn a little bit more Spanish to talk there. But also, Amsterdam, I love the language. I want to learn Dutch.
Dutch is crazy.
How was Alyssa with the all of the social stuff that you're such a social butterfly? How was she with that?
Like with me meeting all the friends when I was out and about?
No,
like,
I mean,
with her
like
or with her?
When she's traveling to these places, how is her experience in comparison to yours?
I'm an extrovert. She's an introvert. So she's a little bit more reserved. She hasn't actually done it a lot, so she doesn't have much experience. But it's quite different. It's a little bit harder for her to make friends. And granted, there's a huge difference that that is hard to acknowledge. Like, guys traveling versus girls traveling is a big difference. Like, I can go walk the streets alone at night and not have any worry. But that's something that pops into their head. And so you're in another country, you don't know the language. It restricts, and that's really sad. Granted, Barcelona is one of the safer cities, but some parts of it didn't make her feel safe. So it was very different experiences, but also she was at the end of a trip. I see what the Bell, is that a Bell's beer there, Jared?
Yeah, I found this. It's like a official, I've never heard of this before, and I saw it. And
is
I was
it good?
Like, try this out. It's my first sip. It's pretty good.
But yeah, so different experiences, but she ended up enjoying it. She liked it. She got to see Madrid, which was nice, but it was great. Speaking of drinking, I decided I'm going to take a month to detox because when you travel, it's been a week so far. I'm still getting the sweats. I'm like moist right now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I believe that.
I mean, we make friends. I make friends with Alyssa too. So it just varies. Like Lauren and Charlotte, the Cliffs, we met together. It's just, I just am social. It doesn't stop with her. Like she knows, like I'm with her. I love her. Like I can go meet other men and women, and she doesn't care if I meet people. Like she knows, like I'm not going to be dumb. And that's one thing I love about the relationship is like, yeah, I met a lot of women, but I tell them I have a girlfriend. Like I'm not going to be dumb. Like I'm a mature man.
Yeah, no fuckboys on this podcast.
Yeah,
that's right.
So yeah, going back to it, final things of advice for this trip is I would say if you're looking to travel, I have a big motor, so I can kind of take having one night in most places, but I'd say have a 3-night minimum. You're going to Europe, make sure you spend at least 3 nights in each place. I would say that's even like 4 days, 3 nights in a place is not even enough. Err on spending extra time. You can always go back, be out there, make friends. Pick a place that's in a social atmosphere, a hotel, so you can easily go back to your hotel back and forth. That's a key thing. Pick a poppin' place for your hotel because it's very easy to go back, go to the bathroom, those things. Be friendly, make friends, be open. Just look for social interactions. Try new things. Be spontaneous. Do the little things. And then if I had to stack rank the trip, I would say, well, I mean, the time with you guys was the best. Like traveling with your friends, like advice to people. If you know any friends that you know well and you're going to that country, block out time to go see them.
You betcha.
Like, yeah, like traveling with friends and someone who knows the area is so much more fun than alone. Do that. Make time, go for it.
And so Chad is a great tour guide as well. I think we got extra lucky because Chad... Not only
I try my best, guys.
Not only is it nice to have Chad there because he knows how to get around and stuff like that, but he also like tells us facts and like tells us stuff about what we're seeing.
I was dropping all sorts of bombs when you guys were visiting.
Oh yeah, it was great.
But yeah, and then spend the nights. I don't know. Make sure to get enough sleep. Don't skimp on it because you don't want to waste another day.
Yeah, we did not get enough sleep. I felt like a zombie after you guys.
Oh my god, that was so much fun though.
And I can't sleep on airplanes, but like on the flight back, it was just this constant, like my head just bouncing because I can't sleep in those tight quarters. But I was exhausted, and so my head was just bouncing for a solid. But I did manage to watch A Star Is Born and figure it all out.
Yeah, we talked about that a couple episodes ago. That was fun. Speaking of things related to music, though, I think it's time we talk about our song of the pod. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just went to a concert the other day. Is this the person you went to go see?
It is. So a little backstory if you all don't know. So I got back on Sunday. I was good enough. I went to a concert on Wednesday. He's a local guy. His name is Quinn XCII. He's from Michigan State. He is
But he lives in San Francisco now, you mean?
I don't actually know where he resides.
You said local. I didn't know what local meant.
Local to Michigan. His real name is Michael, and he's our age. He's 26. His birthday's coming up, and he's kind of been up and coming on the scene. His first album a while back was I'm listening to the songs with The Story of Us. His new album out was From Michigan with Love. And so it's relatable. And when I went and saw him, I was over the age demographic. I was sitting next to a kid who I thought was in college, and he was like a sophomore in high school. Just like, oh, Jesus. I know. I went alone. Another bucket list item, so definitely go. But the story that the song I want to bring up is... and this is one thing that's interesting and I want to ask a question first. When you guys listen to artists that you like, and you're listening to that music on repeat, because I like listening through albums, and then going to see them live, does it ever change how you listen to the music?
Of course.
In what aspects has it made you change? Does it make you actually look at the song differently because they explain why they wrote it, or like what's your interaction? What do you guys take away from seeing somebody live versus just listening to it?
You want me to tackle this first, Jared?
Yeah, you're the one that said, of course. I didn't say anything.
That's true. Well, for me at least, it just gives me a different appreciation for it, especially, I mean, most of the live music I go see are bands, right? So they're playing instruments, they're singing, and it just gives me a whole different appreciation for it. And as a guitar player, as I'm sure both of you would imagine, like my eyes are usually glued on what they're doing on the guitar. Yeah. So that gives me a different appreciation for it, maybe a slightly deeper knowledge of what they're doing sonically. But I think the other thing is too that you get that association, especially like one band that I saw live a long time ago was Kings of Leon. And that was one of the best live shows I've ever seen. And it gave me a whole new appreciation for their music in general, just because they played so well live. And then you start building those associations of, you know, being at the concert and how the atmosphere was, how everyone was singing along. And, you know, it gives you those memories to kind of associate with every time you listen to that song, you know, from that point on. So I guess that's usually how it changes with me. I'm not a fan really when artists explain songs to a certain extent, because I don't think that's why you write them. Like, I think if they give you a vague explanation, okay, cool. But
like,
I don't want to hear
when I wrote this or something like that.
Right. I don't want to hear like, yeah, this was for my ex-girlfriend Stephanie who cheated on me with my friend Bobby. And, you know, I don't need to know that. Just tell me this is a song about heartbreak, or this is a song about feeling betrayed. Because I think when you give those really, really like intense details, it makes it, well, depending on how they do it, I guess it makes it either less relatable or more relatable, right? And I'm a big John Mayer fan, and he says that whenever, you know, if you're a true songwriter, you should never reveal who you wrote the song for, right? Like, he wrote a song years ago called Paper Doll, and a lot of people assumed it was about Taylor Swift. And he said that, well, that's, you know, first of all, he wouldn't say who he wrote it about, but you know, the fact that people associate that song with a different person kind of ruins the song, devalues it in a way, right? So that's just my 2 cents, though.
From what I've noticed too, a lot of artists want people to interpret it however they want. They don't want to. They don't want to give meaning. Like they want people to give their own meaning to the song, and it kind of takes it away if you're forcing a meaning onto them. And I mean, I don't really have anything else to add. Chad said it perfectly. Because at first I was going to say no. But I think that what it does do, it does, maybe, like, I guess I haven't really been to many bad concerts, but it definitely, like, I can think of certain songs that'll come on, like this Foreign Exchange. I love a band called Foreign Exchange. And, like, when I hear the beginning of a certain song, it does remind me of the concert. Like, it was the first song that they started with. And just, like, you know, as soon as they walk out and everyone starts freaking out because they hear that beat and they know that they're about to come out. And so, like, I do love thinking about that and remembering, oh, yeah, I remember going to that concert with my cousin Chris or whatever. So that stuff I like. But, yeah, I don't know. I think I just appreciate if it's a good performance, just to see that they can actually, you know, it's not like it's not studio magic making this music. It's like, oh, no, these people are actually amazing musicians. So it is reassuring in that way sometimes.
Absolutely. And just to mention as well, the Song of the Pod by Quinn XCII, I wonder if it's Quincy.
Or is
that how you'd say that?
Quinn, what is that? Quinn 92? Because he was born in 92.
Quinn 92.
Oh, that makes sense. Quinn 92. Duh.
Yeah, that's it.
That makes more sense.
I know my Roman numerals.
The song is actually called Life Must Go On by Quinn 92. And what made you pick this song, Don? It's a fantastic song.
And so I guess it has been one of my favorites on the new album. So I gotta give you my background musical taste and why this one popped out to me, especially before and after the concert. So it has a great chorus. It's very upbeat. It's uplifting. But one thing I do a very bad job of is a lot of the albums I really like and artists I like are because I can listen to them while I work. And so while I work kind of puts in the background in my head. And that's something that's kind of good that you find what you can listen to. And Quinn's one of those artists, but sometimes I don't listen to the lyrics. Like I know all the words, but sometimes when I see someone in live, I kind of like I interpret it differently because it gets all my attention. And so this was one of the songs that once he started to play it, I'm like, wow, I relate to this. Like it is all about like battling with anxiety and depression that life goes on. Like you got to keep being part of the show. You got to go on. Like you need to keep moving forward. Like these things happen. It's like one of the lines is, in my mind, in the chemistry that combined sits a melody that's singing, you're not fine, but they can't hear me out. So I'm in rapid conversation to know if this is any normal sensation, to know if this is, I said that again, the internet's, I'm saying temptatious and they can't hear me shout. So that's one thing that like I relate to. That's the verse that I butchered because, well, I battle with depression and anxiety. It's like, if you don't know, like for most people, they think like, oh, it's something that you can just solve. Well, no, it sometimes is a chemical imbalance in your brain. Like,
why don't you just think happy thoughts, Don? Get it?
Yeah, I know. And this song is,
think of that.
Yeah. And that one verse says, okay, well, the chemistry in your mind sits like, okay, so I'm in rapid conversation in my head. Well, that happens all the time. No one can hear me shout in my head. And this, those lines and how we build it up goes like, whoa, like this is what he goes, this is what I've been battling with. This is why I wrote the song. And if you just read some of the lyrics, like the start of the song, I'm in shambles since I blew my 16th candle. It's the little things I can't handle. And we're still in July. Call me or reach me because I need samples. A new page with no more scandals. Some loose change with no more vandals. Can I get you up out of my mind? It's just like, those are the basic things that people who haven't directly battled anxiety or depression, like that's how things feel. Like my life, almost 2 years ago, literally went to shambles. Like, I mean, Jared, I think you knew, I don't know, Chad, like I had a really bad experience at a job. I stopped eating, I stopped sleeping. I had anxiety for the first time. And that I actually
didn't know that.
Yeah, it was really hard for me. Like I dropped 25 pounds in like 2 weeks.
I
had a knee surgery and I got really skinny and my mom had to come out, and luckily my mom works in mental health and she helped me get through it. And it's been a process. It took me a year and a half to get back on my feet. And now I'm about 2-ish years away. I stuck to a regimen. I see a therapist. I talk to my psychiatrist. I'm on meds and I'm making the best of it. And you wouldn't be able to tell, but it's songs like this that like, wow, like somebody else who I respect goes through it. And if you read the lyrics, like, even when you know it's all wrong, whether you're high, whether you're low, just keep on, be a part of the show. I said, life must go on. Like, life goes on. Like, for everyone out there battling something, it's okay. Like, it's normal to have these thoughts. Like, we're in an era that mental health, depression, anxiety is just more prevalent. And that's why I like Quinn, because he battles with it. He talks about it. That's what a lot of his songs are about. And I'm one that's trying to be vocal. Like, in my work, I'm very vocal, saying, I tell people I work, like, this is what I battle with. Like, I have bad days. Like, there's times where I get really anxious. Like, I don't know if you guys knew, but me getting on the flight, flying to Prague, I had some of my worst anxiety. So I'm like, how am I going to get from the airport to you guys? It's very simple, right? You get a taxi.
Right.
But I was having anxiety. Like, how do I get there? I was kind of like shaking. I'm like, then I just listen to things. I breathe, slow down. I'm like, get a taxi. You'll get there. It'll be fine. And so those are like the little things. There's little things. So if anyone out there listening, and I'll do my little plug right now. If you're having anything, you can always reach out to any of us on Instagram. You're having a shitty day, any social media, just reach out. There's people here for you. Don't feel alone. Social media, I think, has also made this a lot worse, but there are good people in the world, and we will listen. And I think that's something that's really important to talk about, because at one point I felt like no one was there, but there are people there. People have been there. Reach out. We can support. And that's why,
Oh, sorry. I didn't want to interrupt you.
Oh, and I mean, that's one reason why I like Quinn. He puts it in perspective and makes it positive. Like, it goes on. Like, and that's what he talked about. Like, the artists I've been going to, I saw J. Cole a while back, and Quinn did a similar thing. And J. Cole said, like, I don't care what's going on in your life. Like, I know some people are high, some people are low. Like, you're all come for all your mirrors. We're here tonight, and we're going to have fun. I want you to vibe out and enjoy it. Like, we're one family. Try to leave that stuff behind. And that's what I did. And I had a great time. I was stressed out this past week coming back, but, good things happen. And he just has a positive message. And that's why I like listening to him. He's uplifting and has songs that are relatable.
Absolutely.
His song called Straight Jacket was very relatable.
Social media has made it worse, but I also think it's made it better to help people realize that they're not alone. Because I think it's easy for people to think that they're the only one feeling that, or like no one else will get it. But I think social media has made a lot of people realize that what you're feeling is not as unique as you might think, and it's like there are people out there that get it and can talk to you.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, so that's right. And as Don said, feel free to reach out to us, Untranslatable Podcast on Instagram, Untranslatable1 on Twitter, or shoot us an email, untranslatablepodcast@gmail.com. Feel free to share what's been going on. And we are not therapists, but we are here for you. And
not licensed, at least.
That's true. That is true.
Exactly. You are my therapist sometime. We do talk for a long time.
We do.
That's what's great about having good friends.
Yeah.
And I can't agree with you more, Don, that this song it's an amazing song. It's very uplifting. And the music video itself he mentions how he didn't realize how much he would learn from others and how much his music has touched everyone. And I think that's why we love music. It brings people together. It helps us with a lot of these difficult feelings, anxiety, depression, whatever people are going through. And so big ups to Quinn92, proud fellow Spartan, and keep doing what you're doing, man. You're doing a great job.
Not that proud right now, are you, though?
I know. That was a rough game.
Still proud.
Hey, hold on. Let's clarify. Me being a Michigan fan, out of anybody, I was pulling for State last night.
For sure.
But that was a tough loss. Texas Tech is good.
Yeah.
I know they held Michigan to 16 points in the first half.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
That's how good their defense is. And honestly, man, I hope they get the title. They deserve it.
Yep.
They deserve it. They were beasts. But anyways, now it's time for our check word of the pod. And I have to admit, this one is a doozy. And I wanted to pick this one because I thought this really just kind of encapsulates Don's trip. Jared can see it on the Trello. Sadly, I don't know if Don's looking.
I'm trying to sound it out of my head, and once you get to the end, it's just like...
Yep. So here we go. I'm going to try to say it. Dobro društvi.
Oh, that was good.
That wasn't too bad. Any guesses, guys, on what dobro društvi means?
Well, I'll tell you this. Dobro means good, and I'm going to imagine that društvi is a male word because dobro is the male, because dobri would be...
So this is all one word, Jared. So I don't think it's dobri. I think this means something different.
See, I was thinking because dobro not is good night.
But that's two words. It's two words. This is all one word.
Okay.
Dobro društvi.
Is it more like a bon voyage kind of thing?
Not quite. I'm going to give it to you because I don't think either of you will be able to figure it out.
I have no clue.
Dobro meaning good.
It is the Czech word dobro društvi means adventure.
Yeah, Don definitely had an adventure, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, and I don't have the water bottle with me, but this... I don't know if you guys can see it. So I went to this one store in Barcelona because this is why I bring it up. It's called Growold, Growold, and their slogan is "Worth the Wander." And
oh, nice! I like that.
I really like it. I went to the store and they really, that embodies what I try to do. Worth the wander, man. Wander around and you go through it, and that's what it is.
That's the other thing I like about traveling with both of you guys is all three of us are huge walkers, and we're all very willing to fully explore, and just as we almost did the Maps Off challenge. And right. I love that.
Yeah, and that's the other travel thing. Walk. You see so much more. You'll stumble upon buildings, like things you didn't plan to see just by walking.
Yeah.
Like I'll throw some pictures on the gram. Excuse me, of Amsterdam. Oh my God, I got some just beautiful shots. We walked everywhere.
Yeah. Amsterdam is very walkable, too.
Oh, for sure. For sure. All right, guys. Well, it's time for a couple cheesy jokes. So I got a couple of them for you. And as Jared's mentioned, this is a family podcast, so these are some family-friendly jokes. So here we go.
This has been an especially family-friendly episode.
That's right. What do you call a window that wraps?
I don't know. What do you call it?
I have no clue.
Two panes? For those of you who don't get that, it's because of two chains.
Two panes. Okay.
Two panes. So, guys, what kind of jokes do you make in the shower?
I don't know. What is it?
I don't know.
Clean jokes.
That's
Oh
a
my
giant.
God.
That's a real giant right there.
That is a giant. All right, and my last one. I'm sure Don saw some hipsters while he was traveling.
Oh, yeah.
How do you drown a hipster?
Tie rocks to their feet and throw them in a river.
That got dark real quick, Jared.
That's not really a joke, is it?
No. So how do you drown a hipster in the mainstream?
Ooh.
Oh my God, that was clever.
We saw
Right.
a lot of hipsters in Berlin. I mean, we were in hipster central.
I was just going to say Berlin is definitely hipster central. Well, I think after listening to Don, I think I actually have 2 quotes for
funny.
today's episode.
Because I wrote down 2 specific things that Don said as well.
Oh,
So I'll be interested to see.
We'll see if we got them. So the first one is get comfortable being uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Did you have that one right then? And this one, I just love the way this rolls off the tongue. Oh, shoot. What was it now?
talk shit, get hit.
No, that's a good one too.
Get hyped, you get hurt.
The one with wandering.
Oh, worth the wander.
Worth the wander. I love the alliteration. Worth the wander. So everybody out there, I think it's safe to say, get comfortable being uncomfortable, and go to places that are definitely worth the wander.
Yeah.
I had be comfortable in uncomfortable situations, as you said. Be comfortable being uncomfortable. And one other one I like that she said was learn to learn. It's like teach yourself to learn how to adapt to these new situations. And yeah, I thought that was great too.
Oh, definitely. Without a doubt. Well done. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, man, come up with your own core. Those are the 2 things I live by. Learn to learn and be comfortable being uncomfortable. Like, those are the 2 base things I go by. And so find out what pushes you and build that in. Because then you have a lot of fun because it relates to everything that you do. Mm-hmm. Chad, by the way, your beard's looking real good.
It does look good.
Oh, thanks, man. It's just been laziness. Haven't done anything with it. For all of our people out there watching YouTube, you can check it out. If not, you can just imagine what my beard looks like.
Or on Instagram.
Or follow you on IG.
That's not true. Mm-hmm. That's true. That is true. Well, Don, we really appreciate having you on this episode. And I've got to say, man, this has been a very educational episode for me personally.
You betcha.
I think you just reiterated a lot of the things that I never really said, but I definitely had going on in my mind while traveling. But, sometimes it's good to have somebody else say it, and it really reinforces it. So I really appreciate it. I saw Jared writing down some notes. I think some of them might have been show notes, but I think some of them might have been some life notes. So it was really good. We really appreciate it. And we hope all of our listeners out there enjoyed it as well. Definitely check out some of those travel places. Check out our Instagram, Untranslatable Podcast. Slide into Jared's DMs on Twitter, Untranslatable1. And don't forget, send us an email, whether you're high, whether you're low, whether you have some untranslatables, untranslatablepodcast@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. And we thank all of you so much for your support. We cannot believe we're at, I think, 11 or 12 countries around the world now. So we're very humbled and honored to have you as our listeners. We really appreciate it.
You betcha.
And we hope all of you have a wonderful time with this podcast and with everything in general. And as we say here at the Untranslatable Podcast, Dziękujemy.